Welcome to Dad, Can We Talk? I'm your host, Anthony Ray, where fathers have a platform to speak, where the voices of fathers are heard and valued. Fathers from all walks of life, father figures, father supporters, and the fathers of the future. Our show is designed to uplift fathers and fatherhood. We're here to reshape the narrative about black fathers and our community as a whole. So if you are a father figure, a father supporter, or a father of the future, we hope you enjoyed this show. So without further ado, we welcome you to Dad, Can We Talk? 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 Dad, can we talk?
Welcome to another episode of Dad, Can We Talk? I'm your host, Anthony Ray. This is episode 155 of the podcast. This is a super special one for me, I must say. I'm here with my bros, but before we get started, of course, I need first thing from y'all. I need y'all to go to YouTube, type in Dad, Can We Talk, subscribe to the channel. It's the best, easiest way, free way to support the podcast. Go hit subscribe on YouTube, Dad, Can We Talk. Also follow us on YouTube, on Facebook, IG at Dad, Can We Talk. Go and follow, just kind of keep up with everything we have going on. Support all the dads that have been on the channel. This month actually makes it official. This is 6 years. Oh, wow. 6 official years of Dad, Can We Talk. I think I recorded the first episode February 9th, 2020. Shout out to my guy Adolph Means, man. My first guest, one of my mentors, my guy, my dog. Love him. So yeah, we officially 6 years in. And so I appreciate everyone that supported me throughout the years, from buying shirts when I was slanging shirts out the truck during COVID. Man, everyone that has either bought things for me. I've had someone buy me a camera. I've had someone buy me microphones. I've had people give me microphones. I've had people, offer me studio time. People that have just looked out, man. So many people bought shirts for me, so that I could, be able to print some shirts up. I've had so many people throughout these 6 years bless me with so many things in so many ways, man. And I'm all the way 100% appreciative of all that. So once again, just want to say I appreciate y'all. Continue to support. And man, I just want to go here right now, man. I want to just, without further ado, I'm talking about this month being 6 years for Dad, Can We Talk? A lot of people might not know that for the past year, back in last February, we came up with an idea here at Havana. So before I even get into all that, y'all might see it's a different background. Y'all ain't never seen this backdrop before. So we're here posted up at Havana's Wine and Cigar Lounge, downtown Gainesville. I like to call it the premier bar of Gainesville, Florida. Right. That's just how I feel. I don't know if anybody else feel like that, but that's how I feel. The premier bar. You come into Gainesville and you talk about bars, and definitely if you talk about a cigar bar, cigar lounge, you ain't got no other one in the area. So yeah, that's what we're posted up at today. But for the past year, we've been meeting over here on Tuesday nights. And these two guys that are sitting with me right now, I don't know who first came up with the idea. One of them hit me up and was like, "Yeah, man, I got an idea," and I'm like,
"It was a collective."
Of course, it was collective. It was a collective.
We do a lot of talking, and ideas do just come up when we talk. So
yeah. And so when the idea was passed my way, I was like, "Of course, like I ain't even got to think about that. That's easy.
Yeah.
And so we came up with the name The Cave. You know, just kind of symbolic of a man cave.
That's right.
You know, where men
That's
can
right.
come and just chop it up, just talk about life, just whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm here. I want to introduce my partners, man. I first got over here my guy Malcom, Askew, the realtor
The one.
of Gainesville.
The
You know,
one.
the
So
one.
be my house.
Your house
Yes,
can
sir. Believe that.
Yeah.
And then we got the OG, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
the infamous.
I'll be infamous.
Yeah,
Triple
the
OG.
triple OG. My guy Anthony Moore. So, y'all welcome to the Dad Can We Talk community, my partners. How y'all feeling?
Man, feeling good, man. Glad to be here. It's a long time coming. We've been talking about this for a while. So.
About 3 years.
Yeah, so it's good that we're finally able to make it happen.
It's the
Yes,
time.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So honestly, man, do I want to start this off the same way or no? You know what? We're going to keep the same Dad Can We Talk tradition. I don't want to change it. We're going to keep the same Dad Can We Talk tradition. What was your relationship like with your dad?
Man, well, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Jump
Man.
in.
For me, honestly, I didn't have one. At least not my biological father. You know, fortunately, I had, you know, other men who stepped up and took that role. But as far as my actual relationship with my father, it wasn't very, you know, existent. But even though it wasn't existent, I learned a lot from it. I actually credit my father for helping me to become the dad that I am. So,
Believe that.
yeah, man, absolutely. But you know, I had people. I had my grandfathers. I had my uncle. You know, other mentors that I've had throughout the years that have kind of stepped in and filled that role for me. So,
Straight up.
so I wasn't. Thankfully, I wasn't lacking.
Straight up.
You know, so I had people that stepped up for me, and that was an incredible blessing.
Straight up. Always, always. Man, shout out to all the role models, the guys that step in and fill in that gap
Absolutely.
when dad isn't there. Shout out to all y'all out there. What about you, Mal?
Well, same for me, man. But I will say I wasn't as fortunate to have people step in. You know, I was single parent, single mom, you know, child all the way through high school till I got here. And it wasn't until about maybe 3 or 4 years after being here that I decided, man, you know, I don't know what this looked like.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have nobody, you know, to model. Because, you know, men, we model, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's our thing. Women are very intuitive, but sometimes we just need to be made plain for us. And, you know, that's where I was. So I just started to seek out, you know, accountability, started to seek out mentors and things like that.
Right.
You know, after being here for about 4 or 5 years, I chose one of my first close mentors. And then kind of just been sticking to guys ever since, you know. He's my OG for a reason right here. You know, we friends we brothers for a reason. So I'll say I didn't have it at all really throughout life, but that made me realize how much more I needed to have male presence in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, you know, which is one of the reasons why we in this group in the first place.
Yeah.
You know?
Straight up.
Yeah, I mean, it is the reason why we started this group. I think, you know, one of the things, unfortunately, there are many men out there whose stories are just like ours. Who we didn't grow up with a father figure in the home, with, you know, constant access to him. And one of the things I think that most of us realize is that men in our community, especially in our era, have never been taught how to deal with emotions. The reality is that men are just as, if not more, emotional than women.
Yeah.
Right? But we've just been taught to suppress it.
No way around it.
So I always say that, and we've talked about it before, where I say that men are essentially like pressure cookers. You know, we have an emotional response to something and we push it down, right? Because we don't know how to address it, don't know how to deal with it. We have another emotional response and we press it down, press it down. The problem is that at some point that pressure has to go somewhere. And then by the time it blows in a violent way, all right? It blows through verbal abuse, physical abuse, substance abuse, because we haven't learned how to manage those emotions, let alone the emotions of a woman. That's a whole nother thing, right? So what this group essentially is to create a safe environment for men to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to share and just kind of vent some of that pressure off, so that we don't get to that point to where we explode. And we found over the last year that it's one of the things that a lot of men need. Some men don't even know that they need it until they get here, and they're like, man.
They start talking.
Yeah, man. They start sharing everything, man. Like, the floodgates are open. They start sharing their deepest, darkest things, and the tears might even flow. But it's a safe place because we allow you to do those things without being emasculated, without saying, man, you're a punk, man up, or whatever. And we talk about everything under the sun. We'll talk about women, but we spend more time talking about spirituality. We're talking about, cultural affairs, political affairs, religion, the whole nine. So it's a place that we've created, a safe place that we've created for men to come and just be themselves, because there are things that I can share with you two that I might not be able to share with somebody else. And sometimes that's all that we need, is just to be able to share and vent. But the beautiful part of it is that we are going to support. We're going to be your cheerleaders, yes, but on the other side of that, we're going to hold you accountable.
Real talk.
So when you come at us with whatever things that you got going on, it's not unlikely for a brother to be like, nah, dog, that one on you. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you might need to go ahead and go back and apologize, or,
And what I love is that everybody has their own night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can recall, bro, I done had my nights,
right.
Bro. I'm just like, nah, man, y'all need y'all tonight, man. I'm just going off. You know what I'm saying? Going off.
Right.
Then, we'll have nights where, we'll have my favorite ones, but we had a random.
Right.
That
new guy.
Ones, man, where it's the new guy. And, he's like, well, I appreciate y'all coming. He don't know nothing about what's going on. And by the end of the night, it's 11, 12 o'clock. And we like,
yeah,
we love you, bro. We love you. How about we love on you next week too? Come back next week.
Yeah.
So but yeah, man, it's just we it's funny how we thought about it, but then just over this last year, man, it's really been proven that we black men specifically.
Yes.
I mean, because I don't want to say that other men don't need it.
Right.
But we just think about years and years of stuff piling on, trauma piling on.
Yeah.
With mental health, especially as big as mental health has been,
Right.
Obviously our community is one of the last communities for it to be brought to and for us to embrace it, because I think it's two ends. We don't really have anyone bringing it to us, and we not necessarily seeking it out. And sometimes even when it seeks us out, we resist it, because again, the generational thing where talk to a therapist or whatever.
Right.
So I just like that we're starting to really just create something new. And I can't wait for the day that somebody starts something similar to what we got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. We're not trying to have a monopoly on anything. We're not trying to have the only safe space. This is something that we should be modeling, that others should be modeling, and recreating. Because this concept is not a new concept. You know what I'm saying? This is nothing
at all
new for us, for men to be able to come together. We've seen the power in unity over and over and over again. But, whether it's systematically or whatever, our group, our men, that idea, that ideology has, is so far removed from us than it once was. And so we're trying to bring that thing back to where, this is not about fame. This is not about, going viral. No, this is about the need that is actually out there. There are men who actually need this. There are men who are on the verge of depression, or who are already in depression. There are men who are on the verge of, unaliving themselves, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes all they need is just to have somebody sit here and do this and listen to them, and let them get it out, offer advice if that's what they need, But, this is something that we want everyone to do. We want, hey, you can come hang out with us here at Havana's on Tuesday nights, or just do it at home, or do it with their own crew or whatever. But the idea is that men need to come together. We need to be able to allow ourselves to be vulnerable with one another, so that we can start to build from this point.
We have a lot of stuff that's going on, and I can say for myself, within the last year, man, this has literally been a safe haven on these Tuesday nights. With everything that I've had going on in my life since last February, man, this was like, there's some weeks where I'm like, well, I gotta make sure I'm there too. I cannot miss a night. I just, even if I come in here, you know, and I don't even say too much.
Yeah.
It's like, if I just come in, like, you know, some newer guys come in, and it's just being around the bros. It just gives me a sense of comfort. Like, man, you know, it's good to see my dog.
Right.
You know, just to see your face, to hear your voice.
Right.
You know, sometimes it gives me that push. Like, okay, this other brother came in and he got all this stuff going on, and I'm like, man, shoot, I really can't even complain.
Right.
Honestly,
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
And so, I would say there's so many groups that do start up, and the toughest part is the consistency.
Yeah.
So many people, I see it in the podcast game. I've told people many times, you know, I've had people come to me like, man, you know, bro, I forgot you do the Fatherhood podcast. I was thinking about doing one. I'm like, bro, that's cool. Do it.
But commit though.
Right.
Like, but I'm going to tell you, yeah, everybody want to have a podcast. And it sound good, and it sound easy, and it looks so cool. But, man, to be consistent for 6 years?
Yeah. Takes dedication.
I mean, even people might be thinking, man, this man ain't dropped the episode since. I think I dropped one in December. I missed out on January. I've been going through a lot of stuff in my life.
Right.
So y'all, give me a little bit of grace. I'm getting my stuff together. But just like that, you know, you have these life things that happen, and it's tough to be thinking about a podcast. I'm like, shit, boy,
Absolutely.
I got clips I need to put out. I have a whole entire episode that I recorded like on January 17th that is just on the computer, and I'm like, man, I got to get to that. And so to be consistent with doing something every week, you know, the podcast is just kind of, I do it when I do it, but to be consistent every week, and of course we miss some weeks. And if you come here, you come to Havana's on a Tuesday night, you might not always see all three of us.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll come here, it's 12 of us. Sometimes I've had nights where it's just me and Malcom. Right. You know, there's been times where it's just me and Ed.
Yeah. Well, I think the key is not necessarily, it's to be consistent, not necessarily constant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, it's like, you don't have to do something every day, all day.
That's real.
It's just a matter of keeping that as your focus and always in some way walking toward it or going toward it. Sometimes you're running toward it. Sometimes you're walking. Sometimes you're just standing still, but at least you're still facing that way. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the things that has helped this to be successful or still going a year later is where we're having it at. We're having it at a cigar lounge.
Yeah.
So some people gonna come here anyway. And, you know, I have experience years ago in ministry, and this is not a knock to ministry. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, you know. But having served in, you know, ministry in small groups and all that, there's a different element when it comes to those type of things because sometimes they carry, you know, a feeling of judgment with it.
Authentic.
You know what I'm saying?
Be genuine.
And so sometimes people they won't come because they feel like they're already beating up on themselves, you know. And so we say, come here, man. Hey, get a drink, get a cigar. It's things that you want to do anyway. And then we say, hey, while you're here, what's on your mind, bro? Like, let's talk. Or like you said, the first time you may come, you may just sit and listen to us talk. And sometimes that's all it takes. It's just you see somebody else doing it, and then, you know.
And we start going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, we start passing those cards around, asking questions, you know, and then some people may participate, some may not. But I think what it does is it allows you to see, like, man, I ain't the only one that had these thoughts.
Straight up.
I'm not the only one that has these problems. I'm not the only one that has these challenges. Like, it's pretty common. There's literally nothing new under the sun, you know. And so I think when you get a chance to see that, it helps you to become a little more comfortable.
I like that. So what do you
That's
guys?
one last thing that I did. One thing I did want to add was that it was almost that. You said it better than I would have said it, but I would argue that you have been consistent. You know, you might not be here every single week, but like you said, you know, every month you hear at least twice.
Right.
You know, at least 3 times. You know, and I think that, you know, just we as men in general, that's actually one thing that I started to internalize. It's something that I had heard before, that consistency ain't necessarily doing the same thing every day, you know, exactly the same way. But I started to internalize it here, literally being around y'all. Because there was times where, you know, we've talked on the side like, man, I don't really feel like going this week. Can you cover me? I feel like I got so much going on, but I want to be there for the guys. You know, feeling that pressure. But, you know, just literally working alongside y'all and being in the group together, literally internalize consistency is that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's continuing. Because I think about, you know, somebody trying to score a touchdown, right? You know, they're going to give them a little shake. They might go left, they might go right. They might even backtrack a couple yards, but they're trying to score.
Still trying to go forward.
And I think that's what we all been doing is this group has always been on our hearts and minds every week. And if we don't show up, we long to be here. We long for the next time that we're here again so we can start having those talks.
Right. That's real. That's real. So, man, I just want to say I appreciate y'all because, you know, being able to have brothers that are consistent with me, you know, and y'all just always keep it real. And that's the thing I like the most. I've even heard that from other guys, you know, they're just like, man, I don't talk like that about stuff like, you know, what y'all are talking about. And so just creating this, man, it has been everything. And it's funny because, you know, when we first started, we were just like, let's just do it once a month. You know, we did it February,
You're right.
Beginning of February.
I forgot about that.
That ain't last long.
It ain't last too long because when March came around, we met that first week. And then I think after that, we were like, man, let's try to do like every 2 weeks. And so we waited 2 weeks in March. We did it again. And then after that, we were like, man, bro,
it's too much of that, man.
I need to be there. I got things on my mind I need to talk about.
I'm saying, man, the weekend keep coming and going.
Yeah,
you know?
And so that was one thing that I realized, like, man, once we did it that first day, I'm like, damn, boy, I got a whole nother month before I'm able to meet up with the bros again.
Right.
And then when we did it that second time, I'm like, shit, 2 weeks long too, shoot.
So let me ask y'all real quick. What was your male camaraderie like before the group?
Well, I would say for myself, it had been a minute. I used to live this every day when I was a part of ministry. And that was something so I left my church in 2020. And I always say, I think the biggest thing I missed when I left the church was fellowship. Because I used to be in church on Sundays, Tuesday, Bible study, Wednesday, they were having worship practice and stuff, so I would kind of be at the church. You know, my wife was on the worship team, so I was kind of just around the church. Thursday nights would be men ministry, women ministry, so we at the church again. And then we did community events a lot, you know, Fridays, Saturdays. So I was always around my bros. Like, I'm always around, like, and then if we're not around each other, we got each other's numbers. So I was always in fellowship. So when I left, there was a part of, you know, people kind of looked at me a little funny because I was going toward Israelites, you know, and so that's a big thing in the church where they're like, oh, you don't believe in Jesus no more. And I'm like, bro, who said that? You know, so I lost a lot of fellowship with other Christians that were in the church because people looked at me like, oh, what you be on that black people stuff? I'm like, bro, you ain't even had a conversation with me. And so I kind of started turning away from fellowship with most people because I'm like, man, I don't know about that. Even with my Hebrew brothers, you know, shout out to Berean Council, my dogs. I love y'all, for real. But I even kind of squandered that opportunity with them, you know, just being around them because I was so hurt about what had happened coming out of the church. I felt like shit, I can't even trust them, even though they've never given me any sign to say that I couldn't. That's just how I felt. And so for about 2 years, where I wasn't really, you know, outside of my dog Mike, my dog Tavares, and my boy Arthur, I really didn't talk with guys like that because I'm like, I can't trust people. So when this came around, it was perfect timing for me. Like I really needed it.
Yeah.
I think for me, as far as male camaraderie, I've had it throughout my life. You know, whether it be sports, you know, playing football, or in men's ministries, or in my Masonic lodge. But the difference is that all of those things have some type of agenda, right? If you are in church, right, the agenda is, you know, Christ. You know, if you're in sports, it's football, basketball. You're in the Masonic lodge, it's masonry. The difference with this is that there is no agenda. You know, we don't meet and say, you know, or dictate rather that we're going to discuss this particular topic or whatever. It allows us to kind of flow. You know, in most cases, I mean, we definitely want to sometimes steer, because sometimes we have people that need to be steered.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I have to start steering a little more often lately.
Right.
You guys been
But
open.
for the most part, it's like we get here, we sit down, and we let the conversation just kind of blossom, let it unfold into whatever it's going to be. Which for me, although I don't discredit those other areas of, you know, or other groups that I've been a part of, they have their place. You know, they have their benefit. But I think what we're doing here, we allow, you know, as the church would say, we allow the spirit to flow, right? We allow the spirit to move in the way that it's going to move.
Yeah.
So when we sit down, we don't know if we're going to be sitting here talking about our issues with women for the next 3 hours, or if we're going to be talking about how we are indigenous, you know, to this country, or, you know, we talking about, you know, conspiracies and the Illuminati and, you know, whatever else. You know, it's a great place for us to come and just be able to just let it go where it goes. And even in those times, it might shift, you know, because we may be going down a lane, and then you have a brother that's like, you know, he starts talking about something, and then we all kind of collectively realize that, okay, he needs more right now. Right. We need to focus on him and support him where he's at right now. So it's fluid, which I think is great, you know.
Those are some of the most important. Those are some of my favorite moments, especially when it's guys that aren't always in the group. Because we'll sit here and work our stuff out all the time.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I might just call y'all half the time, you know, or whatever. But I really love it when a guy comes and when they think it's that kind of group. They think it's that kind of group where they're gonna come and, man, my wife this and
right.
man this and man, we remember the dude who had father. One of my favorite ones was the guy who had father issues. That was one of my favorite ones that week, man. Oh man. And you know what I was hoping would happen was that, you know, I'm sorry, what he was probably hoping would happen was that we would just, man, but no, we like, wait, you know, let's talk about this. Why do you feel that way about what your dad did? Why do you, you know, whatever. And you know, to your point, you know, I also had spent some time in ministry. As much as I enjoyed it, I still have lots of friends that are in it. Love God like nobody's business. Leading a micro church, I was not able to have some in-depth conversations like we have here.
Right.
I was not. And sometimes, most nights we don't touch on Jesus or God or none of that, right?
Yeah, right.
But just the depth that we go in terms of the everyday stuff, and you know, I love the Word, studied the Word. Sometimes when I need to know how to handle this specific situation, that didn't happen 2,000 years ago. Okay, they didn't have Instagram,
right?
You know,
they
didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? So I need to know, you know, I need to know how to handle this, you know, per my, you know, lack of, you know, modeling. Yeah. So, you know, I think it's beautiful that, again, we can come here and we don't know what they do when they leave here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when they come here, you know, it definitely feels like they're absorbing. I see guys' posture change. I've seen guys who can't stop talking, who's always driving the conversation in the night like this.
Yeah.
This, to me, is telling me, like, I need to fix something.
Right.
You know, so that's my favorite thing about it is just how free range, to your point, it can be.
Yeah.
But when we get to certain topics, it ain't like we got anything to skate around. We don't have an agenda. You know, we say we're gonna be out of here by 11, but we done been out. We done been here till 1:30 sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We gonna talk about it until it gets handled.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Back to your point, bringing it full circle. How you just brought up the guy that had the daddy issues, let's say. And going back to your original question that started this whole thing out, what's your relationship with your father? What I liked about that evening as well is that, like, it could be easy for us to blame life on my daddy not being there, right? We can do that. What I like about that particular night and just kind of the overall spirit of the group is that what we did with him was push him, or at least try to guide him to a place of forgiveness for his father. You know, yeah, I can complain about a lot, you know, concerning my own father. But the thing that helped me to be able to not regress or not get into a bad place concerning him is I had to get to the point to where I truly forgave him. Like truly forgave him. Whether he changes or not, you know, whether he improves or not. And in a lot of ways, he never did, you know. But as we've learned, you know, that forgiveness piece is for us. That was for me. It wasn't so much about him. I'm deciding that I'm not going to carry this, you know, load on my back anymore. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people go through. That's what a lot of us go through, whether we will admit it or not. You know, because the thing is that we are, you know, we're weak in a lot of cases. We are extremely emotional in a lot of cases. Like, you ever go into a football game? You know what I'm saying? What did you see? They win a championship, they hugging, they crying, you know what I'm saying? All that, right? You can't say that we're not emotional, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to everyday life, sometimes that's hard to deal with, you know what I'm saying? So what I like that we do is we are going to hold you accountable, you know, because as my brothers, you know, regardless of what you're going through, I don't want you to stay in that place, you know, and that place that you're in is all right here. We talked about several times that battlefield is right here in the mind, you know, so if we can help each other address what we're going through or what's going on mentally, then in the actual physical realm, we can get through those things a little bit easier. So I think that's a prime example of what we do here at the Cave, and we've seen it work several times.
And even the how, right? Like, we all started by talking about what our relationship with our dad was, right? And we all, I would imagine, had different, from what I remember, had different relationships, different types of relationships with him that he had with his dad.
Right.
And the fact that we all have different types of relationships with our fathers, and we all had something to add and something to get. Because I ain't gonna lie, I got something from that. And that's the thing about it. That's my favorite thing is, you know, men, when we love teaching is one of the ways that we show that. Yeah. And you just being in that room with all the teaching going on, all the man, I went through this, so I don't want you to go through that. And do you really want to make that decision? You know, it's a lot of love in the room, bro. Yeah, it's a lot of love in the room, and guys, I feel like walk out feeling like, for lack of a better term, somebody actually cares about it. You know, because we know, for one, love our women, our black women. We know they love us and they care for us. It's different sometimes. It's just different, you know, the way we express ourselves amongst each other.
Right.
And it's certainly a new thing to a lot of us. I don't know about y'all. Sometimes I be trying not to give y'all too much. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that's like that too. You know, but again, just no matter what, we just all got something to give and something to get. It's my favorite thing about it every single week.
Yeah.
Every single week.
I think my favorite part about it is the fact that everyone is different. It's like we got guys that like wholeheartedly believe in the word. You got one guy, he like, bro, I don't believe in the Bible at all. Right. You know, then you got the African spiritualists. You got guys that are Muslim. You got guys, you know, my Hebrew brothers that came a couple times. You know, it's everyone, and it's like I've learned just from doing this podcast. I've learned to hear different perspectives. Even if I don't be agreeing with some of the stuff, because sometimes, you know, I'd be like, I don't know about that. I mean, but I hear you though.
Right.
Like I hear you. And it's interesting to see where people were coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how did you arrive to that conclusion? Like how did you arrive to where you this is what you believe and this is how you live. And you know, so just having that, I think there's value in that.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing I would say about the church that I didn't learn at the church. It was always, if somebody don't believe what you believe, they're like an enemy.
Mm-mm.
And
Or they're lacking.
Or they're lacking.
Yeah.
And I carried that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I used to look at everybody like, oh nah, bro, that right there, I can't really, I can't go, I can't really have a conversation with that person because they are. And I've just learned, I mean, I ask people questions, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, bro, but I get you though. I get it. I definitely understand where you're coming from, but that just ain't me.
Yeah.
You know, my experiences are a little different than yours. And so just having that, I think there is great value in that. And I think the church misses on that a lot.
Yeah.
Where people feel like, I can't go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people in here gonna feel like, man, they ain't gonna feel me, you know, or they gonna try to steer me. Now, that ain't always a bad thing, because some people got some stuff where you might need to steer them away, you know.
Right.
Like, nah, bro, I think that I might be hurting you, bro.
Yeah.
It just might.
Well, I think it's an interesting point that you bring up. The three of us clearly got bad eyesight, right?
Yeah.
We sit here with glasses.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you took yours off. But this represents the paradigm, right? The lenses through which you see life, paradigm. Some people look at it differently. Some people see the world through a Christian lens. Some people see the world through a Hebrew Israelite lens. Some people see the world through an atheist or agnostic lens or whatever. The difference is what they don't realize is that we're all still here in the world.
Straight up.
We're all still experiencing, you know, different things, you know, within this human experience, you know, and that's where we're all common. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? That Hebrew Israelite and that atheist still trying to learn how to, you know, talk to a woman.
Believe.
Right? They still having to learn how to deal with their anger issues. You know what I'm saying? They still having to learn how to manage whatever it is. And that is, to me, the beauty of what we're doing. We have a situation where no matter whatever you believe, it don't really matter, because I know very well that you still a man. You know, I know very well that sometimes you have a hard time, you know, trying to find that balance between your logical mind and your wife's emotional mind, or whatever the case may be, or just trying to find that balance within yourself. You still deal with those things just like I do. You know, whether or not you pray, you know, on Sundays or you pray on Saturdays, whether or not you face Mecca or you don't face Mecca, you still dealing with the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so we have something here that is like, regardless of where you're at, bro, we know that we have a common ground between us that we can, you know, kind of work through.
Yeah. I wanna go here with y'all. Let's
Excuse me.
where are y'all at? Physical, mental.
Oh boy.
Let's just go there, because when you talk about the physical and the mental, those two work hand in hand. I'm a true believer in that. You know, if you're struggling mentally, eventually that shows up. That type of stuff show up in your body. You know, they say stress.
Yeah.
You know, stress shows up in your body in so many ways. So
Right.
every day, you know, you can be in the best physical shape. You know, you work out all the time, you do all that stuff.
Right.
But if you're struggling mentally, eventually it shows up somehow physically.
Yeah.
If you are good mentally, but you're struggling physically, you know, it's hard to wake up every day and be in the best mind state if you got this chronic pain that you're dealing with every day. You know, you just kind of like, you know, sometimes you start looking at your mortality like, damn, boy, like, how much longer do I have on this earth? You know, you start to ask yourself those types of questions. So let's just go there. Where are you physically and mentally? If you had to rate yourself 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest.
Ooh-wee. So I'll go physically first because I can cheat a little bit. Lately, I've been working out. Last probably like month or so. So, but that ties really well into my mental because right before I started to work out physically, I got back into reading self-help books. You know, I'm kind of like in a place where I haven't been in the last, I say, 8 years. It's literally been 8 years. And a lot of people don't know this, but you know, about 8 years ago, I was in a bad place. Nobody knew about it, whatever. Full circle now, getting back to all those habits that I had in place before that. So reading, working out, and just it's been a reminder that, you know, just to the gift that God gave me, you know, and just the fact that honestly, bro, no better way to say it, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. And starting to work out, just like the light workouts, you know, working up to what I used to do, it just reminds me of just how capable the body is, and how just simply just tending to your body itself can change so much else about your life. You know, I find myself managing my time a little bit better, thinking clearly, not as just, you know, in leadership, you know, there's always, you know, opportunity and opportunity costs, and I find myself worried about opportunity costs a lot less, just continuing to move forward. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's good to be kind of approaching back to where I am. I don't feel like I am where I was, but definitely approaching it.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good question there, brother.
yeah.
It's something that makes me accountable also. You know, like mentally, I'm stronger than I've ever been in life. You know, I started, you know, a different journey, you know, in life years ago, kind of my awakening process. I was more spiritual. I've worked a lot on my mental, whether it's been reading, you know, whatever. And I'm at the point, I'm getting to that point to where I'm realizing that to be truly balanced, to be truly well-rounded, the physical piece has to be a part of that as well. You know, so do I work out like I should? Nah, I don't. You know, my belly would say so, right? But I do realize the value in it because you do feel better. You do feel better when you are active. You know, it is that kind of physical, neuromuscular, whatever type of thing going on where, right? You know, there is a correlation between, you know, what I do physically and how I am mentally, and vice versa. When people are very unhealthy mentally, they do bad things to themselves physically.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, I think that if I had to rate myself 1 through 5, as far as how well I balance the two, 3.5, 4. You know, 4 on a good day. You know, because it is a day by day, you know, type of thing. But there is definitely great value in it. Excuse me. There's some of the things that we talked about as well, as far as like, you know, trying to start farming and, you know, eating fresh food and, you know, talking about, you know, the food industry and all that type of stuff and trying to treat our bodies better. So, you know, I've always been into, you know, trying different supplements and natural, you know, remedies and things like that, because those things also, you know, have a direct correlation to where our head is. And like we said before, the battlefield is truly in the mind. So if we get our minds right, then everything else tends to follow.
That's real.
I ain't answer, so I'm gonna say 4 on the physical and 2.5, maybe 3 on the mental. I know I got more work to do. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. I'm probably in that same spot, man. Mental,
Take your time with that one.
mental, boy. I've probably been about a 2 in the last year. Really, the last 2 years. It's about the last 5 years. I've been going through it, man. You know,
It's the evolution, man.
you know,
Absolutely.
if I'm gonna talk about it one day on the podcast. I've been thinking about even just doing an episode with just me to kind of update. I used to do that when I first started. I used to have like little check-ins with the host. I haven't done that in about 3 years now. But I've been going through so many different things in the last, I'll just say 2 years, that's had my mental all over the place.
Yeah.
Just in all honesty. Doing this has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
You know, being able to sit with other brothers. And
Mm-hmm.
I always get so much from these interviews. Everyone that I sit and talk with,
Yeah.
they always give me some sort of nugget that I can take with me and say, man, you know what? Damn, boy, I needed to hear that. You know, I really needed, I needed that for me. And I would say within the last few weeks, really the last few months, I've been working on getting myself back. I spiraled for a minute spiritually, and I've been trying to get back just in that mind. I feel like I'm hearing God a lot more. You know, He's dealing with me on a lot of stuff, and it's helping me. I'm holding myself accountable to certain things.
I mean, I think I've told you this before. You're in one of the best places in life that you could ever be in.
That's what I was gonna say. I ain't like the two.
We talked about this, I think, one of our first meetings. We talked about the contrast, and how important contrast is in our lives. If, you know, you look at dark, light, white, black, whatever, sometimes that is the best place for you to be, in that place of darkness. Remember we talked about how nobody plants a seed in the ground.
Yes, sir.
You've never seen somebody plant a seed in the ground and then dig it up every day to see if it's growing.
Yeah.
No, it is in that place of darkness where all the good things are happening. All the nutrients are being unlocked. Everything that is needed is happening in that place. And so oftentimes we don't understand that, the value of those places. You know, us not having, you know, fathers in our lives probably more than likely helped us to become good fathers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because we took what was going on in those places and it helped us to be able to focus on more positive things, better things, what can I do differently, so forth and so on. So oftentimes we think that a good life means that everything is great. Everything is positive, it's always light and sunshine and rainbows and whatever, but that's not reality. You know, you need that space in your life, you know, because that's where you are truly growing. That's where all the good stuff is happening that nobody can see but you. You know what I'm saying? When you sitting there looking at yourself in the mirror, when you sitting there at home at night and there's nobody around and you sitting there listening to your own thoughts, that is the great place to be in, because that's where all the good stuff is happening. And then by the time you break the surface, you know, and then the world gets to see you. The world gets to see the finished product. The world gets to eat the fruit that you produced. You know what I'm saying? It's only because you went through that first. Had you not gone through that, then the world may not be able to benefit from the things that you are being able to provide them. And so I think that all of us, in some ways, I know I've experienced those dark places for sure, but it helped me to become the man that I am today.
That's real.
It helped me to produce the level of wisdom that I may have. And there's still much more for me to develop and way more places for me to go and grow. But that contrast is extremely important. So, you know, I would tell, you know, any of your viewers, especially the men, when you find yourself in those places, like, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that, you know...
That's the struggle.
It is.
That's the struggle.
It doesn't mean that you know, are no good to the world or no good to your family or whatever. Like, no, you need that space. It's about what you do with it. That's really the goal. Is what do I do in those moments? You know, do I let this sit here and just destroy me? You know, or do I see what this is helping me to look toward? You know, because as they say, if you never experienced dark, you wouldn't be able to understand what the light actually looks like.
Yeah, no, that's so real. That's why I would say too, because I do a lot of self-sabotage mentally with myself.
That's
you
good.
know, even though a lot of people
That's good. Yeah.
see all these great, and it's something that my wife has told me a lot of times. She's like, you know, you always say this stuff, but what fruit do you show though, Shad? Like, you say one thing, but then your life shows something else. And then I would always explain to her, I'm like, I mean, I know what everybody's seeing, but I'm talking about what I see though.
Right.
You know, and that's the problem. That's part of the problem. You know, people tell me, oh, you do all these great things, and sometimes I'm like, I mean, yeah,
if you only knew.
it's cool, you know, but I'm like, shit, I mean, I feel like I could do better, which I'm sure, I mean, and subconsciously, I know, like, bro, you're doing all right. You know, you at least even think. One of my dogs was telling me one day, he like, bro, just the fact that you even think about this stuff is a good thing. Because some guys don't even think about it.
Real.
That's
You know,
for real.
Some guys don't even think.
Especially not twice. Some guys might think about it once. I think about it twice.
I think about this stuff all the time, and so I'm
Yeah.
just always in my head, man.
Yeah.
Dang, bro, I wish I could do this, man. I gotta get to this place in life, man. And so that's why I'm at a lot mentally. The last few weeks I've been doing a lot better, just kind of taking the pressure off of myself and saying, you know, taking accountability for things that I've done, taking accountability for being in the spot that I'm in right now, and just saying, bro, you ain't nobody else you can blame. It's just you. All you can do now is work toward being better, bro, and make that your focus. And so that's where I've been mentally. I would say that I'm going up.
Yeah.
I can feel myself going in the upward motion. And physically, I give myself a 3. I could do a lot better. For those that do know me, man, when I was at the warehouse, I was working in warehousing 2 years ago. I left in 2023. When I was in warehousing, I kind of had to keep my physical up because that was the nature of my job. I literally made money from my body.
Where I wanted to go with that was, you know, bro, you remind me, just knowing you, remind me of a warrior, dog. Like, every time I see you out, you doing something, you working, militant, I mean, you focus on the next thing, you ready to go, right? I feel like if we had a battalion, I could put you in charge of a few of them, right? And I think you were saying you worried about failure. One of my favorite quotes I'll never forget is that failure is an event, not a person. And yesterday really did end last night.
Yeah.
So, as a warrior, right? You know, sparring, you know, out on the battlefield, you know, lost battles, right? You could be a general, right? Generals done been through how many battles, right? They didn't win all of them, but they got that seal, right? And that's what I see for you. Like, I know that right now you're in a place where you're hurting, where life is difficult, but I don't want you to misconstrue that as you not being mentally strong. Because if you wasn't mentally strong, you wouldn't be here filming a podcast, right? You wouldn't be here trying to lead other men to a place of safety if you was a failure. Right?
Yeah.
Which I don't even know what a person being a failure looks like. I don't know what that looks like, right? Because it don't matter what we take it to the word. The righteous, you know, fall 7 times, get up 8. I done seen you get up a lot. I've seen you get up a lot. I done got up a lot, right? So to me, there's no such thing as a failure when we're talking about a person. Now, an event, how you handle a situation, you might have failed horribly at that test, but you still in the school of life, bro.
Real talk. Real talk.
Absolutely.
Shout out to my guy, 13th Disciple. I'll never forget on this, he does poetry, one of my favorite poets, like spoken word. But he said on this one song he did years ago, he said, the only failure, he said, talking about that scripture, you know, you fall all those times. The only man that's a failure is the man that falls and fails to get back up. He said once you decide, man, I ain't gonna get back up again. Now you just became a failure.
Right.
But as long as you continue to get up, keep trekking, man. You know, that's just a part of life. You fall, do different things, you and not even fail at different things. You just learn lessons. You learn all these different lessons along the way. And I try to keep my mind there. You know, that's why I always say, subconsciously I know, because I be knowing all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, bro, I can literally preach to myself. I know what I need to do a lot of times. I know exactly what I don't need to do most times. I know. It's just the application. Like
That
to
part.
apply the things that I know. I got the wisdom. I can lead so many other people and say,
Wait,
bro,
well,
I think you need to do
Let's
this.
talk about that though.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hear in church all the time, often it's quoted, with all thy getting, get understanding, right? What most people don't quote is the scripture before that. It says that wisdom is the principal thing, yet with all thy getting, get understanding, all right? So in other words, understanding is the way to wisdom. And to explain it, I always give this example. You driving down I-75, okay? Speed limit is 70 miles per hour, right? Say you're on your way to work, whatever. Speed limit 70. You decide to drive 80, okay? You drive 80, which is pretty common for 75 or more. You get pulled over, you get a ticket. Excuse me. Now you have understanding that if I drive 80, 85, and a 70, I could get a ticket, right? You understand that now. On your way back home, driving down 75 again, you drive 80, 85 again. You get pulled over again and you get another ticket. It's not that you didn't understand. What you didn't do is apply your understanding, thus being wise.
Straight up.
That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is the application of your understanding.
That's real.
That's all it is.
That's it.
It has nothing to do with age.
Yeah.
It really doesn't have too much to do with experience. Some experience, but it's about how you apply your understanding. Because I'm sure we all have seen an old fool, right? You see a lot of people think that just because you're old that you're wise. Nah, because we done seen some 50, 60, plus, men in our lives that ain't wise at all. So understanding, and applying is the key. And that's where a lot of us mess up, because I know I'm preaching to myself. I know that I have made some of the same mistakes over and over and over again. And it wasn't that I didn't know better, because I definitely knew better. But I was like, it's just like, again, driving down 75, I don't think I'm going to get caught. I'm going to see him before he see me or whatever.
Hit 99 for like 5 minutes real quick.
You know what I'm saying? But, I done made the mistakes over and over again. Yeah. And it's not that I don't know better. It's just that I need to do better. And I think that, yes, with time and experience, yes, you can become more wise, but it's a choice that you make. It's a choice as to whether or not I want to apply the understanding that I have, so.
That's real. That's real. So, again, wrapping this on up, what do y'all want to see the cave in the next year? What are you envisioning? What you see right now?
Honestly, as much as I love the lounge, I would love for it to grow to a place where we need a new space.
Yeah, absolutely.
We average about 6 to 8 guys a week. We double that number, we're still here. So I think over the next year that'll be good. Going into the following year, man, if we got a larger group, especially consistently, I think that's the thing too. Well, I don't want to say consistent, repeatedly, right? Because we got a lot of guys that are consistent. I would like to see some guys more repeatedly. So to me, that would be beautiful, for them to start showing up more often, and then to start bringing more guys and some of those guys sticking. Yeah. I think what that's going to have to come with for us is we are going to have to be a little less free-flowing, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah. I would say that.
Yeah, only so that we can pull more out of the guys, because sometimes we let it flow, and we kind of it's a fire hydrant at one point. It's hard to stop, and kind of get to a place where we're productive again. So just I see us getting a little bit better at managing the group, even though the discussions have been top tier.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what they're going to be next. But that's what I would love to see. More men. I'd love to see more stories evolve from it. And ultimately, man, I would love. I don't know. I think that's enough. I think that's enough.
I like that.
No, I agree with that. I do want to see growth. I want to see growth in numbers. I want to see actual growth individually. You know, I want to see each of us grow and develop. I do agree that there should be some level of, structure. But I also never want to get away from the original intent of the group, which is, to provide a safe place for men to be able to be vulnerable and to be able to share, to be able to find support and grow. So I still want to make sure that element is there. But however, you're completely right. Especially as we grow in numbers, it's going to be way more difficult to reel them in if we got, 30 men in here.
30 hurt men.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hurt men
Right.
at that, bro.
But I think also I want to see that we still make space for that, though.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about, maybe not every meeting is focused. Sometimes we need to just have a free-for-all, but I would like for us to definitely grow and develop more as men. I want us to see and be able to hear the stories the following weeks where, you might have been sharing with us about what's going on at home with your wife or with your children, and then come back the next week and be like, hey, well, that was on point. That helped me out a lot. That's what I
Success
needed.
stories, yeah.
Right.
That'd be great.
Yeah, but to make it, again, I think for me, this is a sacred thing. I'm all for doing what we're doing right now. We're filming and all that. But at the same time, I want to make sure that we never lose sight of the heart of the cave. When you think about a cave, in some ways, it's secluded.
Yeah.
Symbolically, it's secluded. It's a place where you can step away from the world, step away from, your family and friends and jobs and whatever else, and, come here and just refresh yourself and build yourself up. So, yeah.
Hey, bro, what was the name of that cave that David and those men met at? Y'all gonna maybe have to go look it up, cause there was a cave. What cave did David and these men?
But to your point, that I think that is going to start to reflect the depth of our conversations, the impact of our conversations. When we start getting guys coming back for part 2. We had that like once or twice, but I love to see. I love that point. I love to see that a lot more.
Yeah.
There
Found it.
is the cave of Adullam.
Who?
Adullam.
Adullam.
Adam, whatever that is. Adullam, I think.
What's the significance? What does that say?
The significance is it was a place of refuge, transformation, and preparation
Boom.
for kingship.
There it is. Right there.
And so David, I forgot what was going on around the time when David fled there for himself, but his men came and met up with him. What's his name speaks about this a lot, man. I think he has a group called Cave of Doom. What's the guy? Bald head guy, Jason.
Oh yeah, Jason
Wilson.
Wilson.
Jason Wilson.
Man, I'm reading his
in
book
Detroit
right now.
He has something called Cave of Adullam, and he talks about that.
See?
He does.
And
That's right. We know
yeah, real talk.
For y'all at home, this is how it happened.
Right.
One thing gets said, about 30 ideas all come into one, and then there go that spirit flowing.
Yeah, and so I that's
Crazy.
like all the men, they left their families. And sometimes that's a hard thing. You got kids at the house. You got women at the house. It's just it's a little tough, and that's why I'm always understanding with guys. I'm like, bro, I ain't trying to tell you to leave your responsibilities, bro. If you got something to do,
right. I
don't want you to be like, yeah, man. This one dude, at Havana's told me to come over here. Now she mad with me, like, nah. Bro, you coming now. You making that sacrifice on your own.
Give her full disclosure.
Yeah.
Tell her you coming here to get healed and to be with other men.
Straight up.
And that's what you coming here for. And if she or they, meaning kids or whoever it is,
But
Can't
for
allow that space for you. That's what's gonna happen.
But for the women out there who's, men hopefully will come here, one of the other things that we do, we have no problem saying, hey, dog, you need to go be home with your wife.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? You need to go be home with your wife, or you need to go be with your kids or whatever. Our goal is not to take all of men's time. However, it's critical. Like, there are a lot of men who are going to listen to this who have never experienced what we're talking about. And this is exactly what they need, and their wives or, girlfriends, families or whatever need to understand that this, ultimately can benefit their quality of life as well. So, we're not going to sit here and try to, monopolize all your time, but if you can only come for 30 minutes, so be it, that's fine.
Straight up. So I like both of those points. And I would say I would like to do this, what we're doing right here. I wouldn't like to do it all the time, because I've always been up under the, people would say, oh, bro, you got the podcast, bro, y'all should record Tuesday. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Tuesdays ain't for the cameras, man.
Nah.
That's not for the cameras, man.
Nah.
That's not, I never wanted that. I've had plenty of people come up to me and say, man, bro, you should do that. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want, because that's not what Tuesdays is about. Even for me, I'm like, shit, it's some stuff I ain't trying to be talking about on this camera, man. Some stuff I want it to be right here. It is not for the world. It's not for everyone out there. It's for a select group of men that I trust, that, because sometimes I might come in here, and if y'all two ain't here, I might have something that I got on my chest. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Because, and that's no disrespect to any of the other guys, but there's just, I'm like, I think I can wait.
Yeah.
I would rather sit and talk with Ant. I might pull up on Ant on a Wednesday night and come over here and come chop it up. Like you say, me and you might talk on the phone or something, or meet somewhere, and, we chop it up, because everything isn't for the camera.
Right.
I do understand what people be saying, because I understand that when you talk podcasting is about viral moments.
Right.
You want to blow up and have all this, because some of the stuff that we've talked, that we spoke, had conversations about here on Tuesday nights, if it was recorded, it would have went viral.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but if you think about it,
because you know what time it is, boy.
but if you think about it, a lot of things that do go viral are trauma based.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why it goes viral is because you got several thousand people that are trauma bonding with you in that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in that moment, this ain't, look, let me just feel this right now.
Straight up.
I don't need the world, going through this with me, because then they're going to try to dictate how I'm supposed to respond and what I'm supposed to do. And no, that ain't the right advice. And you should be doing this because I did that and my uncle did this or whatever. Nah, man, like, this is definitely not, for the world. At least not the normal meetings that we have.
Yeah.
If we're going to do something like that, then we are intentional about it.
Straight
You know
up.
what I'm saying?
for that.
You gotta have talks before, like, hey, listen, bro, we ain't going down that road.
Mic'd up tonight.
Yeah.
Like mic'd up for
Hey,
NFL.
what you said to us about your lady last week?
Yeah, hey.
Don't say that this time.
Don't bring that up, bro. We do not want that. But I do understand. But I would love to open this type of stuff up to some other guys.
Yeah.
Because I do have guys that are like, man, bro, I want to come on and talk. I think they would benefit. I think even the people, the listeners, the community would benefit from hearing some of the things that I hear when I'm talking just in my regular time with guys. I'm like, damn, boy, if other people can hear this type of stuff and see what men are really going through, man, it would change a lot of people's perspective on what men go through on a day-to-day basis, because just naturally, a lot of times men ain't trying to talk. I've had guys that came on the podcast and they held me down about coming on the pod. And they come on and it's like, when we get done, I'm like, bro, you ain't talk.
Right.
I had to kind of lead the conversation and just kind of, get it up out of them. But I'm like, man, you come on here, bro, I'm giving you full disclosure, bro. Whatever you say, that's on you.
Right.
I might ask you a question, but you can go as deep as you want. You can be as shallow as you want.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it up to you. I'm not gonna pry if it's something that you don't want to talk about, don't talk about it. If beforehand you say, hey man, I really don't want to talk about it, bro, I've got so many other questions that I can ask,
Right.
because my goal has never been to go viral. I mean, that would be cool.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I think I got so many things that I know I could blow Dad, Can We Talk Up? Well, I can do some messy
It's
stuff.
gonna happen. It's still gonna happen. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, they look for those, they're waiting to have something to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, so they want to hear all your business, and
Mm-hmm.
not so that they can help you, but so that they can go and talk about you.
Right.
And say, oh, I knew he was like this, or I knew he would be going, I knew he would say this. And I know how that game goes, because I watch so many podcasts, and I'm like, I don't know, I probably would never talk about that one. Never.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, to each his own, you know. So
Yeah.
that's something that I can see within the next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With us doing this, maybe every couple months, you know, we get some guys that are interested, and we post up, man, and we have these conversations. I wish I had more mics where we can have 5-6 guys.
Right.
I've had the vision to, you know, have a whole,
You
you
get
know,
that? Hey, it's possible.
you know. So we still in the works on that. So
Quite possible.
I would say that's where what I'm seeing.
Yeah. This is what we need, man.
Yeah.
Exactly what we need. Like, so my final point, because we're about to wrap up, I guess, but to kind of summarize what this group does and what it can do, there's an analogy that I've always given. Everybody's familiar with like a medieval knight, right? You picture it in your mind. You have a knight that has armor on from head to toe. Okay, why? Because he's in battle, like a lot of us are. A lot of black men are constantly in battle, right? And just in the regular world, there's always someone trying to do harm in some way, whether physically, mentally, spiritually, what have you, right? So that's that knight that's full of armor, right? You take that knight, you send him home. He goes home to his wife, to his kids. But what he does is he refuses to take the armor off. How uncomfortable is it going to be when his wife or kids run and try to jump into his arms? It's uncomfortable, right? How uncomfortable is it when his wife wants to come and kiss him? You know, they go to bed, he doesn't take the armor off, she wants to make love to him. It's uncomfortable, and it gets to the point to where it becomes hurtful to those that you are around, you know? And that's how a lot of people live their lives. They are so used to people trying to hurt them that in the place where they're supposed to be safe, in the place where they're supposed to be able to let their guards down, in the place where they're supposed to be vulnerable, they refuse to take off all the goddamn armor, and they keep themselves away from those who they're supposed to be able to trust, you know, and they get to a point to where, you know, those people that are with them, they get tired. You know, they are like, look, it's starting to hurt me to be with you. And so, you know, that's how a lot of us, you know, have operated, you know, throughout the years, and we don't realize it. And what ends up happening is you say, well, you should just accept me as I am. No, it hurts me to be with you, so I'm not going to accept that. And that's what a lot of us experience, not just from men, because women definitely do it too. You know what I'm saying? But one of my goals for this group is for us to get to a place to where we can at least start taking some of the armor off. We may not be completely naked and unashamed yet, but that's the goal, is to get to that point, you know. And so I think what we are doing here is providing that, you know, that space for men to be like, all right, I'm gonna see if I can trust you. I'm just gonna take this arm piece off and wait to see if you try to cut my arm off. No? Okay, cool. I'll take the other one off. Because sometimes that's what we need. I need to know I can trust you first. You know what I'm saying? Before I start making myself vulnerable to attack. You know what I'm saying?
True.
But realizing that those that are closest to us, those that are family and friends, you know, we need to learn to be in a place where we can truly be, you know, unguarded. And that's the hardest thing for a lot of us to do, just again, men and women. But that is the goal, is for us to be naked and unashamed with each other, because that's when you can truly get close. You know, that's when we can truly start to bond with one another. That's what we've been able to do. The three of us. You know, you share personal things with me, I share personal things with you, and same with me and you and him. You know, we've gotten to that place where I can come to you and be like, I'm gonna tell you something that I don't want to get out into the world, but I'm telling you that because I can trust you. You know what I'm saying? But what if more men could get to that place? Then, bro, it makes everything better. What if more men could get to the place where with their women that they can actually share and not be so guarded. And sometimes you're that way, you don't even realize that you're hurting somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just so used to what's going on in the world that you can't fathom there being anyone in the world that's not trying to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? But we got to get to that place. That's my goal for myself. You know, not with everybody. You still got to be smart. Don't get me wrong now. You still got to be smart.
Got to.
You know, but with those that are close to us, we got to get to that place to where we can be vulnerable with them. That's all I got.
I love that, man. I would say that sums it all up. And so, for everyone out there listening, especially the men, if you live in Gainesville, Florida, Tuesday nights, I would say about 8:30. About 8:30 p.m. here at Havana's Wine and Cigar Lounge, downtown Gainesville. Man, pull up.
Hey, if somebody pulls up for the first time they've ever come, let me know. Your first drink is on the house.
Believe.
I heard that.
Straight up. Y'all heard it from the man himself. Told you, this is the man right here now. I mean, he be having people coming in and taking pictures with him and all, you know, so.
Watch out. Here we go.
And just know it's a safe space, man. Just that's the main thing I want to say, man.
Yes,
When you come, don't matter if it's your first or 15, it's always gonna be here for you.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Don't feel like if you come once, you gotta come next week and every week from there. We'll love to have you every week that you're willing to come. But if you come just one time and you bring your full self, that'll be enough. And this is gonna be every week for
You
you.
come and be quiet the whole time if you
You
want
be
to.
quiet.
Straight
You
up.
can just absorb. We want this to be a place where men don't have to perform. In a world where a man is
That's
the
good.
summation of his accomplishments,
That's
we want
good.
you to come to this group.
Oh, that's so
You
good.
ain't got to worry about achieving. You ain't got to worry about
Yeah.
serving nobody. Come get served or just be. Just exist.
I love that.
Straight up. And I believe that, I'm a big believer that everyone adds to the conversation. You know, I was talking with a guy the other week about being a guest on the podcast, and he was like, "Bro, I ain't got nothing to give." I was like, "What?
Man, please.
All got
Bro,
something.
do you understand
Yeah, man.
All got
the
something.
things that you can offer just me? I ain't even talking about everybody else. I'm just talking about myself.
Yeah.
I look at you as a man. I believe that all men have something out,
Yes, sir.
regardless of where you are in life.
100%.
Even if you, a homeless man can teach me something.
You better believe it.
You know, I'm always all ears because I believe that this homeless man, I could be there one day too. So I need to know what led to you being in the position that you're in right now.
Yeah.
You know, I used to hear, and I was even one of them guys. I used to say, "Man, a divorced man can't teach me nothing about marriage."
That's the one who teaches the most.
What? I'm like, shit,
Hey.
what? Believe it.
That's why I know so much.
Yeah,
Because I done made all the mistakes already. You know what I'm
Straight
saying?
up.
Trust me.
And so, you know, a divorced man can teach you a whole lot about marriage. A homeless man can teach you a whole lot about dignity. You know,
That's good.
There's just people that can teach you things regardless of where they are in life. You
Right.
know, the poor man, the rich man, the black man, the white man, it don't matter,
Absolutely.
man. We all can learn from one another, and we got to look at each other in that way, like you add value.
That's it. That's it, bro.
And so that's what I've experienced in the last year with every man that has come on a Tuesday night. I have received so much value from every man that I've interacted with. I've received something from them. So I look forward to continuing to build on this. And yeah, we just gonna end it there, man. So like I always say, like I said at the beginning, man, y'all gonna find this on YouTube. I've been slacking so bad on posting to my Apple podcast and Spotify. I'm probably about 10 episodes behind on those platforms because I've gotten so used to, I'm gonna just say this, about 2 years ago, when I was still at my house, my internet was like, man, the internet was on God level with the speed. I used to be able to upload to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts within 5 minutes.
Okay.
Well, where I'm at right now, and that's
You need
a
that
part
fiber
of
optic, bro.
Yeah.
you gotta have it, because right now, with the internet that I'm running at the house, man, it take me a cool.
Yeah.
Man, when I upload, man, that thing go at turtle speed,
Right.
and I'm just like, man, shit. I put it on upload and I leave the house. When I
Dang.
come back, I'm like, well, shit, what I go on 66%? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I'm almost there, you know. So it's taking me a little longer, and that's what's kind of slowed down my process, because I'm not in that same place. So that's why I've slacked a little bit. If people do see this and they're like, this man don't even post on the Apple Podcast anymore, because I know people that
It's
used
gonna be
to
on
listen
there by
to
the
me.
time they see this, though.
Yeah,
You
so
already know that.
That's right.
I'm gonna try to, with this episode, just kind of put it on all platforms, but it will for sure be on YouTube. I can promise you that. So
And we gonna hold them accountable.
Right. I was
Next 2
going to
weeks.
say the same thing.
yeah.
all brothers.
I got
If y'all missing them episodes, don't
Yeah.
worry,
Right.
they're coming, because now we know.
Yeah,
Come holler at me. I'll make sure it's on there.
and I think on Apple Podcasts, I'm probably on like episode 140. This episode 155.
155.
Yeah.
So I've been slacking a lot. So I put that on me. But I'm going forward this year. I have to do better. I
You
have
will
to.
do better.
I will do better. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. So appreciate all the supporters out there, man. Appreciate the men, the women. So to end episode 155, we doing a toast.
Yes, sir.
Dad, can we talk in the cave?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Much success, brother.
Much success.
Lord.
Many more years together.
And
Tell me,
we
Dad, can we
about
talk
bang bang.
about this walk of life and everything you do to raise the kids right? Man, I know it ain't easy, but you still try. I don't know how you do it, man. I still wonder why. Yeah. It's such a beautiful thing when I see the fathers gather, see the unity reign, like how we used to be, but see it's truly the same. All this negativity ain't in tune with the name, and I see you just wanna be better. You try to keep it cool through all the heat and the pressure, and you give it your all, you don't retreat or surrender. And even if you fall, you get back on your feet and remember that the kids need you. I don't see how they don't get it, and that's why we talking, hoping everybody listen. So Dad, can we talk? You see the table, come and sit. It's a new type of show, man, it's called Fatherhood Edition.